We all naturally go through fear. Everyone experiences fears. But it is not letting the fear overwhelm you that is very important. How you face that time is very crucial to see where you will be heading in life. When you look into the life of King David, a great man that he was, a man that pulled down Goliath, a man that we would say would never have had fears. But when you read his psalms, when you read his poems or his songs that he writes, you will see him struggling with this emotion of fear. In one of the psalms, in Psalms 55, when his very close person betrays him, leaves him and goes, and not just leaves him but troubles him, he writes in Psalms 55 verse 4 onwards, he says, "My heart is in anguish within me. The terrors of death have fallen upon me." He's scared of death now. He feels death is going to overwhelm him. In the next verse, he says, "Fear and trembling come upon me, and horror overwhelms me." That means he's being overwhelmed. That moment of struggle, that moment of fear is just taken over him. In verse 6 he says, "And I say, oh, that I had wings like a dove. I would fly away and be at rest." He's saying, I wish I could just run away. Don't you feel the same, right? Sometimes when you are facing a crisis and you're scared about what's going to happen, the consequences of it, you feel like running away from that place, running away from that situation. It's natural. David, a man who pulled down Goliath, the man who pulled down the armies of the Philistines, the man who people speak greatly about, a king, he went through fears. So if you go through it, it's not something unusual, but overcoming it is very important. What David did next is he did not sit with that fear. But if you read in the 16th verse, he says, "But I call to God, and the Lord will save me. Evening and morning and at noon I utter my complaint and moan, and he hears my voice. He redeems my soul in safety from the battle that I wage, for many are arrayed against me." Now he's renewing himself, he's strengthening himself again and saying, now I will call to God. God is going to answer me. God is going to take me out of this mess. So I want to tell you, fear is natural, but letting fear rule you is what is going to destroy you. What David did to overcome fear is he ran to God to help him. I believe even when he faced Goliath, he did not face Goliath in his strength. If he would have done it in himself, if he had tried to do it himself, he would have been afraid just like the other Israelites. But he faced Goliath in the strength of God. When we read verse 22 of Psalm 55, David speaks a promise. He says, "Cast your burden on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved." I want to tell you, it's normal to be afraid. Now, when you look at the pandemic that has gripped the world, when you look at how fear has gripped the world, how the economic crisis is just overwhelming the world, it's natural to think what's going to happen next. But staying in that fear is dangerous. We need to renew ourselves, turn back to God, and know that it is God who's your help, God who's your strength. And also know for sure that if you are walking with God, He will not let you be moved. That means you will not be overcome by the situation, but you will overcome at this time of crisis. You will see the favor of God. God bless you.